The Washington Post appears to have given up on that whole journalism thing. Now they're just making stuff up. They published this article earlier today. We want to show you the front page of it, saying the Bernie bros are out in full force harassing female reporters. Now you might say, what's the problem with that? It's a picture of Bernie. Yeah, it's a picture of Bernie now. It wasn't a picture of Bernie originally. So Sean King had tweeted this out. This is how I came across it. In this next picture, you're going to see the original. It's a picture of the woman who had been egged in San Jose by Bernie Sanders supporters. And so she's ducking her head, and she has egg in her hair, and she's running away. But the headline is, Bernie bros are harassing female reporters. So some crazy people thought that maybe there was a bit of a link between the picture and the headline. And so they added this, eventually, once changing the picture. Editor's note, an image that originally accompanied this post on the Fix's main page and appeared in a video in the post depicted a woman being egged. Given the headline and context of this post, the photo could have been misconstrued as a reporter, which it was not. It was a Trump supporter at a rally last week in California. The photo has been changed.
If you're a reporter, you check to see if that woman is a reporter, if you're going to claim she's a reporter. How do you write a story around that idea? And you're like, I don't know, let's just pick this picture. Hey, should anybody check if she's a reporter or not? Nah. Okay.
No, I know how they did it. It wasn't that. They knew exactly what was in the picture. At the end of the article, they say they start smearing Sanders supporters for all sorts of things. They say in the past month, Sanders backers have defaced the state headquarters of the Nevada Democratic Party, sent threatening messages to Roberta Lang, and participated in attacks on Trump rallygoers in California. They, of course, provide no evidence that those were Bernie Sanders supporters who did the attacks. We believe that they were liberals. They were probably Democrats. We have no reason to believe they're Bernie Sanders fans. But by putting that at the very end of the article, then they can say, oh, that's what we were illustrating with our thumbnail for the entire article, the headline for which had nothing to do with the picture.
No, that was the second point I was going to get to, John, which is everybody, especially this article, on numerous occasions, assumes that the people who did the attacks in San Jose were Bernie Sanders supporters. Based on what evidence? We showed you the video. They looked like a couple of dudes from San Jose. They had no Bernie paraphernalia. They never said they were for Bernie Sanders. There was, in fact, I said it when we originally covered the story, I'm not even sure they were very political. It looked like they were mainly pissed at Trump's attacks.
Understandably.
Against Latinos. Now, why do I assume that? Because they were carrying Mexican flags. Yeah. Which I got no problem with the flags. I got problems with the attacks. And I certainly have a trouble with you claiming that they're Bernie Sanders supporters when you made that up. Yeah. That is out of whole cloth. So they've given up all pretenses. Now you dive into the article and it gets worse and worse. Here's a quote from the article. If there's a trophy for bad behavior, Bernie Sanders supporters appear hell-bent on taking it from Donald Trump's. Based on what? Based on what?
Bernie, Trump. Same thing. Chocolate and peanut butter, same thing.
In Trump rallies, people get punched in the face. You know, they get attacked by a mob. Racist chants go up as they're attacked. Yeah. In Bernie Sanders rallies, they chant Bernie, Bernie. Wow.
Wait, okay. Burning things?
And then they say, oh, it is in the quote that John read, the Nevada convention, all these terrible things happened. No, they didn't. You never proved anyone ever threw a chair, or there was certainly no arrests. There was no evidence of violence. But you keep saying, because you're not a journalist, you're actually hell-bent on smearing Bernie Sanders and his supporters, and you will do it no matter what the evidence is. Damn the facts. And then you wonder why people don't trust the media anymore. It isn't just because the conservatives said they have a liberal bias. It's because you guys have an establishment bias and you can't see straight. Although this article is so bad, I normally say, oh, they don't even realize how biased they are. I think this guy might know. Right? I think this guy seemed malicious far more than all the other ones that we've pointed out, because then we get to the third egregious part of this article. You remember the New York Times reporter who had asked Sanders in a rally, her name is Yamicha Alcindor, is it sexist to remain in the race against Hillary Clinton? And Bernie Sanders, I believe, incredibly justifiably said, is that a serious question? Like, he's like, can I run against Carly Fiorina? Yeah. Can anyone run against Hillary Clinton? I think it's the most logical questions ever asked.
It's sexist of Obama to beat her, I think.
Right. And then the New York Times reporter said, well, no, but, you know, she's got the delegate lead. So, and he's like, okay, a question about the delegate lead is fair.
Yeah.
but I don't know why you're connecting it to the sexism.
Yeah.
So this writer turns around and says, Sanders himself got into a testy exchange with a female Times reporter. Okay, and Sanders initially cut off Alcindor before she could complete her question. In other words, since she asked him, "Are you sexist?" denying the charge in a testy way proves that he was actually sexist against the reporter.
Yeah.
But then there's no winning. There's no winning.
That's the trap.
So the fact that, I mean, again, I think this guy is so malicious that he knows the trap that he's laying. Look, by the way, anybody can do this. They're just choosing to do it time and time and time again to Bernie Sanders. But here, I'll set up a trap that if we were equally malicious that we could do, but we don't. And that's why Bernie Sanders is in an uneven playing field, because his opponents are malicious and his supporters are liberals. So here's a trap you could easily set. Okay, it's a little anti-Semitic of all these reporters in the establishment who are apparently a little uncomfortable with a Jewish candidate doing so well. I wonder why they're so dead set against a Jew becoming this powerful. What is? And then we had our reporter Jordan Chariton ask Hillary Clinton if she was anti-Semitic for running against Bernie, the historic campaign of Bernie Sanders, and she got a little testy. But Jordan is
Try to cut him off.
Jordan is Jewish.
She got into a testy exchange with a Jewish reporter.
Well, it only proves how anti-Semitic she is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that the political system we want to have?
No. But by the way,
we don't want that.
I mean, that seems like a preposterous example. That's literally what they're doing to Bernie Sanders, but on the female question.
Yeah. A
female asked if you're sexist. You thought that's weird. Aha! How sexist against a female reporter for you to do that. If you do it when it's anti-Semitism, it is ugly, it's horrible. But it's also bad when you do it with sexism, or in this case.
And it minimizes the real sexism that she will face and has already is probably facing right now as Donald Trump tweets her. That actually exists, and you're clouding the issue by implying that everything that ever happens to her is sexism.
And at the end of the article, he comes back to the standard lines, which is, now, while this has been an undeniably impressive campaign, what? First of all, pat on the head. Second of all, the Washington Post famously denied how impressive the campaign was. 16 headlines in 16 hours in the middle of the impressive campaign when he had a great chance to win. Not now, when he had a great chance to win, they were like, oh, Bernie Sanders, nothing, loser, no way. Why does he get out of the race? Look at all these things, and socialist, and what's wrong with him, etc. Now they're like, oh, well, it was undeniably impressive, pat on the head, right? But then ends with, now, he's got to make sure that there isn't any more hooliganism like this. Hooliganism, but you guys are the same people who attacked him for being the most liberal senator of our lifetimes. So which one is it? Oh, he doesn't know when to go to war. He's not pragmatic and practical. You have to drop bombs and kill people if you're president. Hooligan, how dare you oppose the establishment? Make up your mind. But this was a hatchet job by the Washington Post, and really despicable, because the other stuff, I think, is really an unconscious establishment bias. In this case, it looked like it was conscious.
Yeah.